You want to?
You can just say hey.
You can just say hey. All right.
All right, what's your next question?
So let me think about.
Okay, so I have a question.
All right, let's look over here. Tell me your name. I'm sorry. I don't
Jose.
Hello, Jose.
Hello. Okay, so what was the process? So you said you were a lawyer, correct?
Yes.
So what was the process of you becoming a lawyer? Like
All right,
from
so-
college to
right.
getting the career.
So to be a lawyer, well, you have to graduate from high school. And after you graduate from high school, you have to get a bachelor's degree. The bachelor's degree is the 4-year college degree. So not an associate's degree, but a 4-year college degree. And it can be in anything. So when you go to college, you choose a major in the areas that you choose to study. There are some pre-law majors. I wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend that you study, if you're interested in being a lawyer, that you study in the area that you're interested in being a lawyer. I started out studying chemistry. And then after studying chemistry, I went to political science. And political science is basically the college version of what you learn in all your social studies classes. So government and economics and history and politics. And then after that 4 years is over, you apply to law school. And you have to take another test. So you took the SAT to get into college. You taking your SAT yet?
Yes, I
You
took
taking
the
your
SAT.
SAT yet?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
I took the SAT. And then you take a test called the LSAT, L-S-A-T. I don't remember what that stands for. But that's the test you have. So your grades in school, there's a series of essays that you write, and then there's the LSAT that you take for law school. And then law school is 3 more years. So you had 4 years as an undergraduate, and then 3 years in law school. And then after that, there's one more test. So you can't just be a lawyer graduating from law school. You have to sit for what's called the bar exam. So when you practice in front of a court, it's called before the bar. And so you sit in any state you want to practice. So I went to law school in Chicago, and we came back to Texas, and I took the bar exam here and passed the bar exam here. The pass rate's not very high. The pass rate for the bar exam is around 50 to 60%, at least when I took it 20 years ago. It may be higher or lower now for it, but around that range. You have to take that test, and then at that point you can go and practice and be a lawyer.
Okay. Let's see. Have any questions? Okay, so is there a difference between an attorney and a lawyer, or is that the same thing?
No, those are the same thing.
Okay.
Those are the same thing. So different. You'll see both of those work fine. Sometimes you'll see a lawyer put the name Esquire, E-S-Q-U-R-E, behind their name. That also would be a legal term. But other than that, there's not a substantial difference between the two.
Okay, so you said you went to just like college and then you went to law school. Was it all in the same school, or did you have to go to another school in order to get to be a lawyer?
Right.
Like, for
So I
law
went to a
school?
different school. So I started out at Texas A&M. I spent about 3.5 years at Texas A&M, and then transferred to North Texas. So my degree is up at North Texas. I think North Texas. I don't know if North Texas has a law school now. I don't think they do. Texas A&M has a law school in Fort Worth. University of Texas has a law school in Austin, and it's a separate school near the university. So it's affiliated with the university, but a separate university. Some of the schools I remember I applied to the University of Houston and got into that school, and I applied to the University of Texas Tech as a law school and got into that school. I applied into UT Austin and did not get into that law school, which is why I chose to go to Chicago. I went to a law school in Chicago called the John Marshall School of Law. And was there specifically to study computer and information law. So laws about copyrights and trademarks and patents on the internet.
All right, cool. So why did you choose to switch jobs?
So let me start with college. Right. So let me start with college. So when I went to college, I started studying chemistry because I had a teacher at South Garland. His name is Mr. Vaden, and he was the chemistry teacher there, and he was amazing. And I wanted to be chemistry. I wanted to do chemistry, and I studied chemistry for 2.5 years, and then I had to take this thing called engineering calculus. I'm always amazed. I don't know if you're in engineering. A lot of my engineering students are taking calculus. I have one student who's in calculus 3 currently, and I'm thinking, wow, that's crazy. I could not pass that class for the life of me. I made an F and 2 Ds in the first 3 semesters, and I'm like, okay, I have to find something else that I can do, and decided to go and study political science. At the time I got married, and my wife was leaving she has her degree from A&M, and she went to North Texas. And so I left A&M and went to North Texas to be around people that I want to be around. And one of the choices you can make in terms of picking colleges, you can pick a school that's really close to home so you can live at home. You can pick a school that's fairly close by, Austin College and Sherman, or Baylor and Waco, or Tech, where you can come home on the weekends fairly regularly. Or you can try to go to a school that's way on the other side of the country and never see your family again except for Christmas and Easter, perhaps, whatever it is that you prefer to do. But I went to North Texas for family. And then, like I say, I chose the law school once I did not get the school that was my choice, which was University of Texas Law. I decided to choose based on the majors that they offered, is what it comes down to. In law school, it's the journal that they offered. But I did that at that point. And then I went in and was a lawyer. And here's what I'll say about this. And I don't know any lawyers. I didn't grow up with any lawyers. My parents are not lawyers. My mother was a nurse, and my father was basically a salesman. So I didn't know any lawyers. And I should have spent a lot more time investigating what a lawyer actually does and whether or not that I would be really good at that or not. Like I said earlier on this stream over here, I guess we're both on at the same time, right? That you have that option through Naviance to take a career, some sort of assessment that tells you what they think you might be good at. And I did that in high school, and teacher was the one that came up for me, and I was like, no, I don't want to be a teacher. But it turns out I'm great at it. Anyway, the point is, I was a lawyer for about 3 years, and honestly, I made great money. At the time, I made 3 times more money than I make now as a teacher. So it's probably 4 times more than that. So I made way more money as a lawyer, huge amounts of money as a lawyer. It's great. But I hated every day. I got to tell you, getting up and going to work was something that I could not stand. I hated it every day. And I would work. They don't pay you that much money to show up late and leave early. So, work weekends and work Sunday nights at 10 and that kind of stuff. And I decided that wasn't something that I could sustain. So one of the questions a lot of students have when they ask me this, they're like, you used to be a lawyer, you used to make a lot of money? Yeah, I used to make a lot of money. Do you make money now? I mean, I make okay money as a teacher. You can look it up. The teacher, the GISD pay rate, is for. In fact, I can tell you, I've been a teacher for now 17 years, and I get paid at the PhD rate, which ends up being, I haven't done my taxes yet this year. That's $55,000 a year, something like that, right in that range. Therefore, and that's public knowledge. You can look that up for any teacher. But I made the decision to not keep trying to go after that kind of money and be miserable. And so my first step out of that was to one of my clients was a company that needed this computer support person, and I said, I can do that. I can be your manager. And then that company went out of business. And at that point, I decided to go and try to be a teacher. Again, the thing I really like about being a teacher is at the time, my wife and I, we decided we were going to have children. And teaching is really great for people who want to be parents. Because if my child is sick, I call in a sub, and a sub shows up. And nobody ever asks me to be on a conference call in the middle of my sick child day. It's really, really good for parents. And one last thing I'll say about that, and I'll stop, is that it's worked really well in my family relationship. My wife is now in a senior position at Citi, and she's often at night meetings and often in things, and I'm the one that's able to take care of that, and I enjoy that. So that was a very long answer to different choices that I made, but there you go.
Yeah, okay. So another question that kind of sort of answered it, but still I just wanted some clarification. So a lot of students, when they hear the word career, they think that it's more of just, earning money and getting something just for any kind of job. Do you believe in that, or do you think it's more of doing something that you love to do or some kind of passion, and it's not all about the money? Do you agree with that?
Well, as I just told my story, right? I made a lot more money, and I found that I just couldn't do that. I needed to find a way that something both that I'm good at. I was good at being a lawyer, right? Both at being good at, but also enjoyed doing every day. Now, that being said, one of the things I would caution you, and my own children are approaching the age of high school now, and my oldest daughter wants to be a writer, and that's fabulous. I hope she comes to be a writer. But one of the things I tell her is that you also need to pursue a passion that pays something. So what I'm trying to encourage her is what's called technical writing. So if you open up get any new web software, or that we just got a new MakerBot, we just got a new 3D printer, right? In that 3D printer, there's a manual, right? And that manual was written by somebody who writes technical writing for a living. Now, then she can also then write her, whatever she wants to write, afterwards. But you can get paid for writing, right? Doing technical writing kinds of things. So it's important to do. I mean, certainly if teaching paid me a whole lot less, or if I was in a position where I had to go and make a whole lot more money, then I would stop doing what I was doing and go do that. But to the extent, in my opinion, life is more than just a paycheck. So.
Okay. So when you were in college, what do you think was the hardest part when you attended college, or what you can think of?
The hardest part for me was being self-responsible. So I had a very hard time. I would do this every semester. I would sign up for like an 8 a.m. class, and then I would sleep through the class. I encourage my children to do this now. They set their own alarm. My phone is over here. They set their own alarm on their phone, right? They wake themselves up. I try to get them to do as much on their own as possible, because I'd kind of learned some responsibility. I mean, I was a good student, and I didn't get in trouble and that kind of stuff. But the idea of, I do need to go to bed at 10 or 11 o'clock at night and get up early in the morning and go study. I had a real hard time with that in college, and so I would encourage, developing better personal habits now in high school, even though it's much more fun to play Apex Legends on Discord at 2 o'clock in the morning than it is to go to bed. But that it makes it hard. It makes it hard to do adult things like in college later on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then next question: what do you think was the easiest or the most enjoyable moment in college?
The most enjoyable moment that I had in college. There are lots. One of the things I liked about it was that I had the freedom to make a lot of choices on my own. I could choose to. I was living away. Like I said, I lived down in College Station, and I ended up living up in Denton, and choose roommates that I wanted to live with, to choose the classes that I wanted to take. So I was able to choose a major. I took all kinds of classes. They were outside of my major. I remember I took one semester of Japanese because I thought, why not? I can take a semester of Japanese. Mm-hmm. I learned like 3 Japanese words, and I was like, I don't really want to do this. So I spent a lot of time not focused on the degree plan, but focused on the experiences. One of the things Dallas County Promise offers us this free college here, and that's wonderful. But if you have the opportunity to, through Naviance, get scholarships and leave and go away, and you meet people that you would never kind of meet, you go experiences. One of the things I'm going to encourage my children to do is what's called study abroad. Have you heard about study abroad?
Yes, it's whenever you go stay in another country.
Yeah, so one semester or one class, like Janita. I don't know if you know Janita, Jay's older sister. She just came back, and next fall she's going to spend a semester in Peru studying economics or something. And she's an engineering major, right? But one of the things in college, I don't think if you know this, how in high school you have to take English, math, science, history. In college, you have to take English, math, science, history, even if that's not your major. There's still requirements for those. So, like economics, for instance, is one of her requirements. But she's going to be able to take the time to leave and go to Peru and study for a semester there. So that'll be cool.
Wow, that's really cool. Okay, so a lot of seniors and students in general believe that once you become a senior, once you're about to graduate, you need to have your career, your major already decided. Do you think that seniors already need to have what they want to be decided, or do you not believe in that?
What I would say is, I like, again, as I said, I like the and I haven't taken the Naviance one, but the career counseling would be good at, and things you might not necessarily be good at. I would choose a major in those areas that suggest that you'd be good at. But also, as I said, feel free to take classes outside your major. You can sign up for any of those sorts of classes. One of the things you can take is there's a lot of introductory classes, and you're like, maybe psychology is my thing. I'm going to go take Psychology 101. Maybe I want to go and study a different language that I haven't seen before. You could take, like I said, I took one semester of Japanese, and I ate these little bright snacks and stuff. Anyway, but the point is that you can early on kind of go and dabble in lots of different things. But I would start with a major that kind of generally fits the area that you're looking for. I teach engineering, and we have a lot of engineering students that end up in an engineering program. And when I was down at A&M, I had a lot of friends and roommates that were engineers or studying engineering. And there's about a dozen different kinds of engineering they can study, and they move back and forth between petroleum and aerospace and something called industrial design and industrial. I can't remember what the other one was called. But they would move between these different fields and find the one that they really liked. But they had this general area they were going to do engineering, but what specific kind of engineering? You know, I was talking with one of my students. He goes, "I'm going to go to I'm going to go to Embro-Ready and I'm going to study aerospace engineering so I can build rocket ships." I'm like, okay, so he knows exactly what he wants to do. But others, I think, will do better, kind of aimed at a more general engineering program, a more general kind of program, and then take the time to choose those classes.
Wow. Mary, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I was about to ask. So, like, there are many students who are planning not to go to college. Furthermore, they're taking that classes, like in the CRTC, like Mr. McKee, he's teaching, I believe.
Yes.
That's for classes for certification in electrician.
Yes.
Do you think, like, those students are ready for the future? Do you think if they don't want to go to college, are they ready for the real life?
Well, here's what I'll say. So, Mr. McKee is teaching electrical, like a journeyman class at the GRCTC. So, if you're interested in becoming an electrician, they're building houses all over the place around here. And one of the things they need is somebody to wire it up. And not just anybody can wire it up. You have to have a license from the state to be an electrician. And he teaches a class that gets you part of the way there. So, it gets you some basic skills, and it gets you some an idea of what the profession is like, but then you still have to go forward and get some additional training. I don't know what it is in terms of electricity. You know, it might be a degree, it might be some sort of certification plan, but there is a next step. Therefore, and then what I'll say in those kinds of jobs. So we were just talking the other day about masonry, because we just had a conversation with Dr. Williams and some other people here at the school about adding an associate's degree here in engineering at North Garland. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we're looking at that. What can you prove that you are a master mason, that you're really good at bricklaying? Can you prove that you're a master electrician, that you're really good at wiring the houses? Can you prove you're a master plumber? Those jobs don't need a college degree, but they need some sort of credential, a piece of paper, a voucher that says, not only am I good, I meet all these standards, and therefore you can get higher paying jobs. So, somebody who's not very good or starting very early at those things can get some of the very basic jobs. But if you want to get some very high paying jobs doing those sorts of things, you're going to have to get those certifications.
Yeah, but let's say in the HST, there's the certification to become pharmacist, and they're ready. And the engineering, they give the certification for electrician.
Right.
Do you think that's something really great that students that don't have plans for college?
Oh yes. No, I think that's very useful, because as I said, there's okay. So if you want to make more money,
yeah.
Right? If you want to make more money, you have to provide a skill that fewer people can do. Right, so my very first job was sacking groceries at the Tom Thumb down on Centerville in Garland. I grew up in Garland. Literally anybody can sack groceries. In fact, the Kroger that I go to has all of their sackers are special needs people. They're people that have a very difficult time working outside of this particular environment. Almost anybody can do that job. The pay for that job is very low, because you can hire almost anybody to do that kind of job. One of my next jobs was I drove pizzas in high school. And I loved that job. That was kind of cool, but I don't think I made any money whatsoever, because I would have to spend money on the car to get the car fixed. And literally anybody who can drive, right, can do that part. So if you want to earn more money, you have to put yourself into a set of skills that fewer people have. So I don't know much about construction trades, but I'm going to assume that there are some entry-level jobs that a hardworking, reasonably intelligent reasonably well skilled with their hands person can do and get paid very little. And then there are other jobs, like for instance electrician, which requires a certification, that gets paid significantly more. So what I would say is, even if you're thinking, college isn't for me, I want to go into construction trades, I want to go into some other trades, building your skills to a point where few people have similar skills means you're going to get paid more to do that kind of work. So Mike Trout, right? You know who Mike Trout is? I'll give you that. No, Mike. You know who Mike Trout is?
Nope.
Mike Trout is an outfielder for the Anaheim Angels. Mike Trout just got himself a $400 million contract. Why? Because he can hit the baseball really well, right? So reason why sports stars, think of your favorite sports stars, the reason why they get paid so well is because their skill is very few people can do that skill, so they get paid the highest. Mm-hmm. Same thing. Obviously, we're not going to be sports stars, but if we can make our skills, if we can raise our skills to a point where few people have, then you'll get paid more.
All right.
Okay.
Jose?
So, I think that mostly covers it. Probably last question. What advice do you have to students that don't know what they're going to do after high school, or just scared to go out into the real world, like whether it be going to college or actually getting a career or anything like that? What advice do you have for them?
Well, one of the things with Dallas County Promise is that we have access to colleges nearby here. So if we're concerned about completely leaving the nest and going out on your own, you can literally go to these colleges here and stay at the house. There we are. So if that's where you're going with that particular question. And some of the other people have, a lot of the students I've talked to here that are like, I'm not going to go very far because I have to take care of my younger brothers and sisters. I have to take care of my grandparents. I have things that I have to take care of around here. You can still take those. So let me go back to my law school real quickly. I went to a law school that was for working people in Chicago, meaning there were people that had regular jobs. And the third year of law school was all night classes. So people would work during the day, and then the classes would be from 6 to 9 at night. So if you're in a position where that you appreciate the fact that you're still free college, but I still need to earn money as a job, a lot of classes are offered at night, and I know this is true in Dallas County as well. So from 6 to 9. But what I don't make the mistake of not being a full-time student. Okay, just say I'm going to take a class or two and then see how it works out, because it's real easy to stop being a college student and very hard to start being one again. You should start being a full-time college student. If you're concerned that too many hours would be too much, 18 hours is a huge amount of hours, 15 hours is normal load, 12 is the minimum. Look at starting out with the 12-hour load, especially if you have to take remedial courses there for that part, and you can start with that. But be a full-time student, even if that means all of your classes are from 6 to 9 at night and you're working during the day as well. By being a full-time student, you're much more likely to, at least you probably know much more about this than I do, but it seems to me that those people are much more likely to continue their degree all the way through.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, is that all we have?
What would you like to tell to students who think college is not for them?
What would I tell students that think college is not for them? Okay. A couple things. So what college is, I was reading something online the other day about how, and Mr. Clark, please don't beat me up for this, but how English majors are for rich kids, right? The idea that this may be part of it, like you're going to get this degree, and you hear these stories all the time, right? Some poor kid up in New York State borrows $100,000 to go to a private university to get a degree in Eastern philosophy and is now serving Starbucks. That's not really what college is. I mean, college can be that way if you want it to be that way, but I think most people don't really want it to be that way. Go through that book. That white. Do you pass out that white book, the one that we have back here? This right here, the Smart Careers.
Oh yeah.
This one. Right.
Yes.
That one, right? So you can go through that book, right? Smart Careers, and go through and take a look and see. Look at that one right there, right? If you want one of those, go see the counselor. And what that is, and you can see here, this is where we're talking about our degree plan here for us. And you can look at the different programs that are here and say, you know what, I'm really interested in making money as a machinist, and the things you can learn for that. And then if you're then you can branch out and take some other classes. So we were just looking at a degree plan here. This is for advanced manufacturing, but there's still space for several electives that are in here as well that you can take and do that. So if you don't think that the college is for you, I'd recommend talking to your counselor, taking the career assessment there on Naviance, and then this book, right? Flipping through this book, the automotive, and again, how much can I earn as an automotive body repairer? So we get $20 an hour if we have this particular degree. And something. What does that one say over there? Administrative assistant, $17 an hour. Executive secretary, $30 an hour. How do you get that? Well, you prove you have some basic skills through a certificate degree like this. So I'd recommend increasing your skills, even if you think you can't, even if you think that that you haven't done very well in school and you're going to have problems with it. There's a lot of support and, well, let's start with stay with support for you there at that program.
Okay.
Is that it, Jose?
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so
Okay,
much,
yes,
Mr.
thank
Nash.
you so much, Jose. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
There you go.
Bye.